Thank you for attending the executive webinar session at American Workflows Enterprise Software Company. American Workflows Enterprise Software Company is a world-class enterprise software publishing and enterprise software distribution company based in New York. American Workflows Enterprise Software Company is active nationally and internationally. For more information about American Workflows Enterprise Software Company and its enterprise software products, please visit the corporate website at www.americanworkflows.com. To get the executive webinar session started, I would like to invite the managing partner of American Workflows Enterprise Software Company, Mr. Kevin Devisiglu. Kevin, floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for introductions. This is Kevin Deveci from American Workflows, and I'm the managing partner of American Workflows Enterprise Software Company, also known as AWF. Today, we'll talk about ISO 9001, introductions to ISO 9001, and also document control management of ISO 9001. In addition, we'll also talk about Workflow America document, task, and workflow management software platform. For today's executive session, we have a subject matter expert and ISO 9001 lead auditor, Alex Kvartirov, with us. Alex is the president of MRAS Consulting, that is an ISO 9001 audit company. And Alex has decades of ISO 9001 implementation experience in his career. Also today in our panel, we have Batu Satılmış with us. He's one of our pre-sales software specialist team members at American Workflows Enterprise Software Company. And before further ado, I'd like to invite Alex to our virtual stage. Let's learn about the fundamentals of ISO 9001 and the importance of document control and document control management to comply with ISO 9001. Alex, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. And thank you very much, Kevin, for inviting me to make this presentation on an aspect of the quality management system. And in particular, today we're going to address the importance of managing documents. So before I start, I just want to introduce myself and my company. I am Alex Kvartirov, and I'm a certified ISO 9001-2015 lead auditor, and I'm the sole proprietor of MRAS Consulting. Now, I've established MRAS Consulting back in 2015 after a pretty lengthy career as a project manager in a large aerospace company, which is certified to the AS 9100 quality standard. And AS 9100 is an aerospace quality standard. Now, currently, I provide consulting services for businesses that are trying to achieve and also maintain ISO certification. And I'm also a business partner with American Workflows Enterprise Software Company to support the application of its tools and provide assistance to businesses in using these tools in the ISO environment. And periodically, I present webinars and lectures on various ISO topics. Now, before we go into documentation control, I just wanted to very briefly introduce the quality management system, which ISO is all about. So the top-level diagram shows in a very simplified way what is the QMS. And obviously, it starts with customer requirements as an input. Then whatever your organization does, whether it's a product or a service, you have internal establish some processes, okay, that convert the input requirements into an output, which would be either products or services. which are supplied to your customer. Now, what are some of the documentation, some of the controls used as part of the QMS? Well, they're really divided up into three areas. You have policies. Well, policies are really what you're going to be doing. Then you have procedures, which is how you're going to be doing, and responsibilities, who will be doing various tasks. So let's look at policies. And there are a lot of, obviously, depending on the organization, the important thing in policies is to obviously meet your customer requirements. And you want to also try to exceed your customer expectations. And this is how you maintain a good relationship with your customers, and you develop also a good reputation to hopefully increase your sales. Also, a very important aspect of the quality management system is to implement a continuous improvement. And I'll be talking about that a little later. Now let's look at procedures, and this is how you implement your quality management system. So control of documents and records. It's very important that these are properly controlled. And again, we'll talk a lot more about this topic. You also have to deal with control of non-conforming products. And that's more of a quality control issue, which would be a discussion in another webinar. And obviously, you're trying to achieve perfection, but that hardly ever happens. So there's a corrective and a preventive action process where you identify any non-conformances and then develop some actions to prevent for them from reoccurring. A lot of it has to be monitored through internal audits. And that's part of the quality management system, and the internal audits is a requirement. And the responsibilities is the organization of your company. What are the roles, authorities, making sure that your personal resources are available and that they are trained properly, how you establish your internal and external communication, and a general knowledge of the quality policy of all your personnel. So again, very top level overview is this plan, do, check, act cycle, which was developed by a quality guru, Deming. And pictorially, it identifies the quality management system. So I think I always like to present it because it really shows what is going on within the quality management system. Now, there are 10 clauses in the ISO manual, and clauses are identified on the right side of the screen. The first three clauses are basically introduction, definitions, and so on, but the requirements start with clause 4 and they go through clause 10. Now, in the diagram, in parentheses, I have numbers identified, and those numbers refer to the appropriate clause. So if you look at the diagram on the left side, you have your inputs, and inputs consist of primarily your customer requirements, what they're looking for. So obviously, that is the key input into your QMS. However, there are other inputs which your organization and its context. So in other words, what your organization consists of, and also your expectations of interested parties. Now, obviously, depending on the nature of your business, you're going to have different interested parties, but there's certainly, your customer is an interested party, your investors are an interested party, and the regulatory organization would also be an interested party, and there would be others depending again on the nature of your business. Now, all of that information feeds into the planning stage, which is clause 6. And then you develop a plan of how you're going to develop either a product or service, which is the support and operation clause 7 and 8, which consists both the support or resources, what you need. So that would be your, obviously, manpower, your equipment, and whatever else is needed to perform the operation. And the operation for a product, to develop a product, would be all your manufacturing requirements, what it takes to do from whatever material you receive through the supply chain into a final product. And then clause 9 is the evaluation. So once you develop your product or service, you need to evaluate it and see if it meets the customer requirements. So this is really part of quality control, which we're not going to discuss at this time, but this is a very important part where this is where the quality of your product, it gets determined before it gets delivered to the customer. And obviously, if the customer gets a product with some defects, then that information should be fed back and evaluated to make sure that those defects are resolved and are no longer present in the subsequent deliveries. Now, all of that performance evaluation is reviewed, and an improvement to the process or the product is established. And then you go back to the planning stage and you repeat the whole process. And that's, you stay in that loop basically forever, because you're always trying to improve your performance. And that's part of the continuous improvement, which is a very important aspect of ISO. But today we're going to focus on one area, is clause 7, which are the resources. And let's look at specifically the area or the requirement for documented information, which is contained in clause 7. So what is really documented information? Well, that's all the data that is required to be controlled and also maintained by the organization, and also the medium in which it is contained. So again, ISO does not require you to have everything in digital format. It could be hard copies stored in file cabinets, but no matter which approach you choose, or a combination of approaches, you still have to keep a lot of control of how you maintain all that information. So again, what is really the documentation? Well, it includes all of your internal processes, and that strictly depends on the nature of your business. Then along with that, the documentation that is required for your business, and the records. And the records are the results of your internal processes. And this is important to maintain the records, because the records are used to perform your internal improvement or do your continuous improvement, and it has to be based on internal information. And this is where you obtain that, from your records. So the QMS processes have to be defined and monitored so that they're carried out according to the plans. And if your processes are not performing satisfactorily, then you have to review and see if those processes can be revised and improved. Now, the documentation, as I mentioned before, it includes a number of types of documents. So your internal policies, procedures, and specifications. All right. Now, specifications includes both your customer requirements, So you have to make sure that you're working from the latest customer requirements that they've imposed on the product or service that you're providing. Your internal document specifications, as well as any regulatory specifications that are applicable to a particular contract. So all of these documents must be controlled in an orderly manner. And records, which is, as I mentioned before, those are collected as part of your implementing your processes. They have to be maintained and actually controlled so that you can use them to make improvements. Now, obviously, how much documentation and how is it structured? It really depends on the individual organization, so it varies, okay? However, ISO requires only 4 internal policy documents, and those are reviewed with every audit that you will have with the auditor. And those 4 documents are the scope of the QMS, your quality policy. So what are your quality objectives? And also the criteria that you use in evaluating and selecting suppliers, because you certainly cannot deliver a quality product unless your suppliers deliver you a quality product that you use in your manufacturing process. So it's very important to keep a close tab on your suppliers. All right, let's look at specifically what does ISO require as far as documentation control, and they're identified in 3 paragraphs. 7.51, which is a general introduction to documented information. And then 7.52 is really how do you create and update your documents. So it's very important that all your documents are properly identified. That means it should be a title, a reference number or document number, an author, that you use a proper format, and also you identify the media that you're going to maintain this document. In other words, it could be on paper, but then obviously that paper has to be controlled and stored in a file cabinet. But preferably, it would be in a electronic media. But that again, all of that has to be controlled. It has to be reviewed and approved prior to releasing and that document as in a controlled environment. And then obviously 753 deals with the control of the documented information. It's very important that the documents need to be revised for whatever reason, but revision must be controlled. And when a revision is required, the cognizant individuals must be involved in reviewing the material and also identifying, why the reason for making the changes. So as you make changes to a particular document, which is really controlled in its version control, the historical data of the older versions must be maintained, because you may want to go back and evaluate why a certain change has been made. So the approval of changes have to be managed properly. And then, of course, the retention and the disposition of the document must be properly controlled. Again, ISO leaves you a lot of freedom of how you manage the control of your documentation, but whatever process you choose, you have to, the process has to be defined very clearly, and you have to follow the process, which will be actually reviewed yearly as part of the internal audit, which is a requirement to maintain ISO certification. So once you establish a documentation process, you should be looking at it as part of the continuous improvement. You should be improving it, and then the internal audit will verify that you're following your internal process of documentation control. So this completes my presentation on documentation control. And thank you very much for your attention. And thank you again, Kevin, for inviting me to make this presentation.
Alex, thank you very much for the presentation. It was very informative for us. Now we have the fundamental, the essential information and knowledge about ISO 9001 and how to manage document control to comply with ISO 9001. Thank you very much. To build on this fundamental knowledge, let's also talk about how to perform document control management digitally to comply with ISO 9001. To perform the demonstration of Workflow America document and no-code workflow management software platform, I'd like to invite Batu to our virtual stage, and Batu can show you the no-code workflow management software platform in action, and he'll also show you the document control management parts of the software as well. Batu, floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. Today, we're going to be talking about the QSIN's quality control. As you can see, we are in the quality check module on the left. And under quality check module, we have sub-modules. First, we have QC order, QC result, QC decision, QC defect, and lastly, we have QC complaint. And we're going to be going over with them one by one. But now we're going to be starting with the first QC order. As you can see under QC order, we have several tabs. First, we have the branch. We can also see our material code, our material description, unit, type, lot number, which warehouse each material code in. We can also see that in here. And lastly, we can see the order quantity and their scores. In here, we have two options. We can create a scratch, or we can go in the existing one of the existing materials. Then we double click on them, we can see in the more detailed view. Under here, we can see the company code, the branch, type, confirm number with their material description. Under that, we have the general information. Under general information, we can see the general data such as the start date, or order quantity, end date, and inventory document with the reference number. Next to general information, we have the assignment. Under assignment, we see the master data with the material assignment, with their material code. We can see plan group assignment with their material assignment description. Below that, we also have the sample. Under sample, we can see the order quantity assignment, as you can see right here. We also have the decision tab. We are in the QC order, so decision has not been made yet. So we're going to be talking about that in a minute. We can also see the characteristic for each material. But for this material example, we don't have this characteristic didn't set up yet. So it's showing empty. And lastly, we have the administration. Under administration, we can see who created this QC order. As you can see, it's created by admin. And we can also see the creation date here as well. All right, so that was the overview of the QC order. Now let's go back to our main page, and we're going to move into QC result. So under QC result, this is a critical component for managing and tracking the quality control process in your organization. Now, as you can see, we have several branch. We have the first column is branch. We have the order type, order number. Again, we can see each material code with their material description. We can also see which warehouse they're in and with their date. Again, we have two options. We can also add a brand new QC result by adding on this button called plus on add, or we can double click on existing material, like what I'm doing right now, and we'll be taken into detailed view. At the top, we can see the company code with the order number. We can also see the material code with the material description. Moving to the right, we can also see the branch ordered with the order type, and again with the warehouse. Below that, we have the summary for each item, right? We can see, as you can see here, first we have the item code again. We can see each data type. As you can see right here, we have some of them are number and some of them are text. We can also see each material's characteristic, right? Under here, we can see the weight, for example, design, size with their description. And each of this material might have a specification. As you can see on this first one is a specification, as you can see right here. We also have the each check column and with the result value as well. And moving to the right a little bit, as you can see the evaluation, and if there is a defect, we can also see our defect type under this column as well. All right, so this was the summary. Now let's move into the detail. If there was any detail, it will show up in here, but for this material code, it's currently empty because there is no data. Moving to the assignment, under assignment, we can see the master data. Under master data, we have the material assignment. As you can see, under material assignment, we can see the name, and we can also see our plan group assignment as well. Below that, we have the sample. Under the sample, we can see our order quantity assignment number, as you can see right here, with their unit of measure assignment as well. Lastly, again, under administration, we can see who created this QC result, which is admin, and we can also see when it's been created in here as well. All right, so let's go back to our QC result dashboard, and now we're going to be moving into QC decision. Under QC decision, we can see each material code again. We have two at the moment, again with the material description, but now we can see each material score, as you can see on the far right, with their decision description. Now, for example, for this first material, the QC been accepted, and score is 100 out of 100. And it goes same thing with the second one. It says it's QC accepted, and score again 100 out of 100. When I double click on this specific material code, again, we'll be going into the detail tab. And again, that will show up the specification of this current material. Again, we can see the order number for this material with the material code. We can see the material description with the decision code of 1. And with the decision description, it's been says QC accepted. Under that, we can see if there's any defects, we can see the defects. We can also see the characteristic for the specific material, as you can see with the evaluation, the specification, and their result. We can also see our stack posting. Under stack posting, we can see our total order quantity and the sample quantity, but of course with their unit of measures. Below that, we have the stacks that have been posted. Under that, we can see our total quantity and two understack quantity as well. And which warehouse this specific material has been in, we can see that in here as well too. Moving on, we can also see inventory account. With the inventory number, if we click on this, we'll be taken into another tab to see the details of the inventory account. Again, with the posting date, with the movement source, and the transaction reference. Lastly, again, we have the administration, and this was for being created this QC decision and when it's been created. All right, so this was the QC decision. Now we're going to be talking about QC defect. This is critical component of the QC platform, designed to help you manage and track defects discovered during your quality control process. Let's start with the QC defect list view. This is where all recorded defects are listed. As you can see, the table is currently empty, indicating that no defects have been logged yet. To report a new defect, we can simply click on Add button on the top left, and this takes you to a form where you can input details about the specific defect. Here on the Create screen, you'll find the field of several fields. First starting with our company code and QC order. Under QC order, we're going to be choosing which material that we're going to be reporting for, right? So I'm just going to go with this first one. And once you choose the QC order, our material code, branch, lot number, and warehouse will be automatically generated correspond to that specific QC order. And status is automatically been open because I'm creating a brand new QC defect report, right? Below that, we have the overview. So under overview, we're going to be adding our defect codes like one by one. First, we're going to be adding the defect code, and this can be either, for example, a raw material defect or a paint leaking from the source, right? So, for example, for this example, I'm going to go with raw material defect. After choosing defect code, as you can see, our defect description, defect group, defect type being automatically generated corresponds to the defect code. Now, I'm going to be choosing my defect location. I'm just going to go with the first one. And if I want to put any remark, I can put remark as well. Once I'm done all with necessary inputting, I can click on the screen button and it will save it. And once I'm all done with all the information with the top and below, I can simply click on save, and that will update my main QC defect dashboard. And that's the way we can add a QC defect. All right, lastly, we're going to be talking about QC complaints. Here, you'll see a table ready to be filled with data. This table is where you'll find comprehensive log of past complaints, but as you can see, it's currently empty. Again, to add a new complaint, we can simply click on plus on a button located at the top left of the screen. After clicking add, you are taken to the QC complaint create page. Here, each field must be filled out to ensure a detailed account of the quality issue. All right, so starting with a company code, then we're going to be putting our complaint number. So for this example, I'm just going to go with this 0001. Then I'm going to be putting my long numbers. I'm just going to make up numbers such as 1 to 6. Then I'm going to choose my complaint date. So I'm going to put today's date. And my QC order going to be just do 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to choose my branch for manufacturing. And my status is currently open. And for my description, I'm just going to say test. Below that, we need to put some information, right? First, you have the overview. Under overview, we have reference document. Under reference document, I'm going to be choosing my material code. So I'm just going to go with item number 1. Below that, again, we have the receipt date and production date. So my receipt date is 26 and my production date is the same date. So I'm just going to leave as it is for this example. Below that, I can also choose my vendor, right? For the vendor info, I'm just going to go with this. And lastly, we have the notes. So if I want to put any notes for this QC complaint, I can do it through here. Now, next overview, we have the defect, right? We can add a defect to complaint, for example. So I'm just going to go with, again, the raw material, and I'm going to choose my location, and I'm going to save it, as you can see here. Next to defect, we have the cause. First, we have the cause code, right? So is it a production issue or a raw material issue? So I'm just going to go with production issue and save this again. And next to cause, we have the action, right? So actions, as you can see, we have the action codes such as action testing 1, action testing 2. I'm just going to go with 1, and I'm gonna be choosing who's responsible. Is it the internal responsibility or external responsibility? So I'm going to go with external. Then I'm just going to leave this as it is, all the plan start date, plan start time, plan end date, such as plan end time, actual end date, and actual end time, right? So I'm just going to leave that as it is. I'm going to click on save. And lastly, if I wanted to, I can put feedback as well. And in order to do that, we have the feedback codes. These are existing in the system, but of course, this is all configurable. We can change it. But for this example, I'm just going to go with feedback test 1. And if I want to put any feedback test, I can do that through here, but I'm going to leave it as it is and going to save it. All right, so once you're all done with inputting all these informations, as you can see right now, I can save this, and that will update my QC complaint main dashboard. And after saving that, you can see it in the main dashboard. All right, so that sums up the whole overview of the quality check inside the QC system. Kevin, I'm handing back to you. Thank you.
Walter, thank you very much for the demonstration of Workflow America document and no-code workflow management software platform. In this executive webinar session, so far we have learned about the fundamentals of ISO 9001, why it is important, and its requirements for compliance, as well as we learned about the fundamental practices of document control management to comply with ISO 9001. followed by Batu's demonstration to show you Workflow America document management, no-code workflow management software platform. And we are keeping our contact information on the screen. As you can see, we have our email addresses, mine, Alex's, as well as Batu's. You may have some questions to follow up our demonstration or presentation. Please feel free to send us an email and we'll be happy to address your questions, continue the conversation, and we can also schedule meetings as well to discuss further together. Okay, great. Well, it looks like it is my turn. Well, in the last section of this executive webinar session, I'll just talk about the American Workflows software system and software company in general. So the Workflow America software system, as you have seen in the demonstration, it is a no-code platform, right? So you can fundamentally digitize and automate any type of business process without coding. It is just a drag and drop environment. And to address the point that how to comply with ISO 9001 digitally, you can also see the capabilities of the system that you can manage any type of content on it. You can manage your Word files, PDF files, video files, audio files. And in case of ISO 9001, it's mostly PDF files, Word files, Excel sheets, as well as drawings, typically. So you can manage all of those, and you can also manage versions of these documents. So as Alex demonstrated, and he actually emphasized, ISO 9001 is asking for continuous improvement, and it's an ongoing process. As soon as we improve our processes at our organization, it'll reflect on our documents, how we do business, how we perform certain tasks, how we do our job, basically. Those instructions will be changed. And when those instructions change due to continuous improvement, our documentation and records will change. And hence, this will require the version control. So you can also manage the versions of every single document and content on Workflow America document and low-code workflow platform. For our company as American Workflows, we are an enterprise software publishing and distribution company. We make enterprise software. These are feature-proof AI-powered software systems. We also distribute software systems as well, AI-powered, modern, cloud-based, and these modern software systems are also working installed environment as well as cloud as a SaaS as well. What is our mission? Our mission is to digitize and automate every single business process in the US and in the world. And there are a lot of manual workflows in many different companies. So we have a lot of work to do, which is great. And we are excited to do so. And how do we do this? How do we have companies digitize and automate their business workflows? We help them utilize our software systems. Workflow America low-code workflow platform is one of them, as demonstrated earlier. And we have other systems as well for other goals, other objectives, other departments and operations as well that I'll talk about in a minute. We are based in New York, we are based in the US, and we have also global operations. We are also holding partnerships with other technology companies such as Acumatica, Sage, QSEN, Microsoft, MOAB, and so on. So these partnerships enhance the benefits of our enterprise software systems. So let's talk about our software systems a little bit. We talk about the Workflow America low-code workflow software platform, as well as document management capabilities of it. We also have an AI-powered, the marvelous social CRM software system. It is designed to help companies manage their pipelines, customers, prospects, as well as their social media activities. Also, it is designed to help companies perform email blasting, SMS text message blasting, and so on. Another AI-powered system of ours, which we are very excited to offer and having new clients on a monthly basis, is AI-powered AI America P3M. That is an AI-powered machine condition health monitoring and predictive maintenance management software system. It also has OEE and energy management capabilities on it. So it is ideal for manufacturing companies in any size, small, mid-size, as well as enterprise customers of ours using and enjoying the benefits of AI America on daily basis. The marvelous APS system is designed for advanced production capacity planning and scheduling for manufacturing companies. It is designed to help companies put together planning for manufacturing purposes, man, machine, and material, right? The 3M. And it also helps companies detect their bottlenecks, shortages of any resources, and how they can actually plan ahead according to their orders coming from the customers, the dates that they need to deliver, as well as manufacturing resources and their availability. So it's a very modern system. It is cloud-based. It's also installable. It has a very exciting Gantt chart. It's a drag and drop Gantt chart for manufacturing companies to perform planning. So it is very popular among our clients, and we get clients on for this software also very often. And also we have ERP systems in our portfolio. We have Kusan ERP. It comes in 2 editions, Small Business Edition as well as Enterprise Business Edition. And the Enterprise Business Edition also has industry-specific modules such as construction module, manufacturing module, real estate module, and also it is very flexible for especially mid-size and enterprise companies. Not only you can manage your finance and accounting, you can also manage your operations actually. And we have clients in many different industries: aerospace, automotive, manufacturing in general, energy, pharmaceutical, retail, healthcare, and many other industries we have clients in. The reason we have this list is because most of our systems that I talked about earlier are actually vertical free. Workflows, CRMs, and such are actually vertical free. So that gives us the flexibility to get in touch and help companies in many different industries to digitize and automate their business workflows. Furthermore, all of our software systems, they have integration capabilities. So we integrate our systems to other ERP systems, other accounting or finance systems, IoT devices, as well as other business software systems to help them exchange data and avoid double entry. But in a nutshell, that's who we are and what we do as American Workflows. We have also new software systems, enterprise software systems coming into our portfolio, and it'll basically be more helpful for many different companies moving forward in that sense. So we are very excited to further our enterprise software portfolio. Okay, great. Well, so it looks like we come to the end of our executive webinar session. So in this session, also before we end it, I'd like to also invite you to our YouTube channel as well, American Workflows Enterprise Software Company, or you can just type AWF, it will come up. YouTube channel, you can subscribe. We have many different videos coming in on a weekly basis about digital transformation, manufacturing 4.0, and automation as well. I'd like to thank you for your time and for your interest, and looking forward to having you in our coming future executive webinar sessions. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
Thank you for attending the executive webinar session. For more information about American Workflows Enterprise Software Company and its enterprise software products, please visit the corporate website at www.americanworkflows.com. Looking forward to seeing you at future executive webinar sessions of American Workflows Enterprise Software Company. Have a great day. Thank you.